All right, hello again. Welcome to Sunday Stretch and Flow. So if you have some blocks, blankets, and a strap, might be handy later on if you happen to have it. We're going to start in seated today. So if you go ahead and take, if you wanted to, you can take your towel or your blanket, kind of folding it up, sitting on the edge of it, or just come seated on your mat, letting your knees gently fall open. And you can also give yourself some space in the hip flexors. If this is feeling really tight, you can bring some blocks, placing them just underneath the thighs to kind of soften into the hip flexors, whatever feels most comfortable to you. And then just allow your knees to fall open, taking a minute, maybe rock from side to side, noticing the sits bones rooting down to the ground. Letting the crown of the head reach nice and tall, but easy. Letting the backs of the shoulders soften towards your seat, towards the mat. And if it feels okay to do so in the space you're at, you can go ahead and close your eyes or just let your gaze soften in front of you. Finding a place for your hands that feels easy. So maybe it's palms down on your knees. Maybe it's one hand on top of the other in your lap, wherever that is, just starting to notice breath. Starting to become aware of the pattern of your breath, of the feel of your breath. Maybe even a gentle awareness of where that breath easily flows and where it feels a little tighter. And then as you're ready, begin to broaden that inhale. But imagine, if you will, if you could pull the inhale, almost as if you could draw it up from the earth on your sits bones, just pulling it inward into that center column, and keep that inhale and let it expand. Expand the hips, the waist, the low back, all the way up into the crown of the head. And as you exhale, almost a drawing up to hold on to and harness that. And as you exhale, you can open your mouth if you'd like. Each inhale, as if you could become even more spacious with that breath, drawing up from the earth. Holding into that breath, pulling up from the pelvic floor, just nice and gently, not creating a lot of tension here. Maybe this inhale that you imagine has a color, maybe it doesn't, that's okay. But for class today, I was just thinking of all the colors in autumn and how they kind of correlate with the colors that we have ascribed to our lower chakras. So the root chakra, sacral, and solar plexus. So using chakras, I just kind of like to use them like a map, like focusing in on this space and these attributes and feeling what might feel off could just kind of helps a little bit in realignment for me. Hopefully for you too. Maybe you have a greater attachment to chakras, maybe a greater awareness of your own, but I like to use them for maps. So today, just kind of briefly scanning through those lower chakras for autumn, almost as a way to prepare for the busy season. The lower chakras are about self. So just using this span. So here, as we're breathing in, if you could visualize as you draw that breath up, kind of passing through the root chakra located right at the base of the tailbone. And then coming to sacral, just below your navel, and the solar plexus, either at your navel or a little above, wherever you imagine that. Root chakra being our safety and security, sacral being that creativity and passion, and solar plexus being that personality, that self-esteem. So if you have an intention, a mantra, maybe it's a person, a color, a space, a word, inhale and inflate it, make it really big. And so if you could breathe it into every cell of your body, and then as you exhale, find a little bit of a release of that intention you've brought, still with you. And then maybe slowly starting to open your eyes, nice and gently, and wherever your hands are, if you could then bring them to the tops of your knees. And then on your next inhale, still keeping that full inhale, still breathing from the earth, scoop that chest forward, maybe lifting the chin slightly. And as you exhale, still drawing up from the pelvic floor, let the mid back draw towards the wall behind you, separate shoulder blades. You can tuck your chin. Inhale, opening up. As you exhale, let all that breath out. Feeling kind of into root chakra a little bit more here. So keeping those sits bones grounded to the earth. And just letting that torso, so as you feel the sits bones root down, feel that ease of the torso because we're rooted and planted down. Then come back to more of a neutral spine. We're going to make some big circles in the torso, thinking of those hip points connecting to earth, still almost weighted down, and really starting to move the spine in all directions. Get really big with those circles. Maybe even here, feeling into that root. And then we'll switch directions with that circle. Let the torso get really big. Move forward to the side. You can even start to roll shoulders with it. But our root chakra allows us to feel a sense of safety and security, a connection and a trust to nature. We'll come back towards center. Let's switch out whichever foot that you had in front. We'll switch it out just to feel nice and even. Once again, just take a moment, feel that earth beneath you. Inhale, reach arms overhead. Shoulder blades still gliding down your back. As you exhale, let that right hand float down. Reach the left hand over, maintaining both sits bones down to the ground, maintaining that shoulder space opening up. So feeling that stretch in between each rib on the side. Inhale it up through center. Exhale, left hand floats down, right hand reaches up, keeping sits bones down, keeping the shoulder open. Inhale it up, and then just a gentle flow back and forth with your breath. Maybe inhale through the center. Exhale as you flow over. Maybe notice each time you reach a certain side, you can bend in a little deeper, and even noticing the compression. So a lot of times we like to feel that spaciousness, but kind of feeling into the compression as well, which is also good. We'll go one more time each side. Letting breath initiate each movement here. Inhale, bring those arms up. As you exhale, let's cactus those arms. Kind of soften so we're not arching too much. Think pubic bone to belly button. Cactus those arms, draw shoulder blades back, draw elbows back, feel that heart lift. Big breath in as you exhale, release the hands down, getting a nice little twist action. Let's bring that left foot out, flexing into the left foot, bringing that right foot over by your left hip bone. Gently draw that knee to the chest. You can keep that leg extended, or you can wrap that left heel towards right hip, whichever feels best for you today. I'm kind of going to leave it extended because I'd like to feel that really rooting down. Inhale, draw the crown of the head up and gently draw that knee in. As you exhale, bring that right hand behind you. Feel that twist coming from the low belly. And then maybe it's only halfway and you inhale to reach the crown of the head up again. Exhale, twist. All the while kind of really gently drawing that knee in. Gaze going over that shoulder. Keep the length in the spine, even as you soften shoulder blades around your spine. As you exhale, slowly come back forward, nice and gently. Then we'll let that top leg just kind of rest. So a half cow face here, flexing into that bottom foot. And if that's really intense on your hamstring, go ahead and place a block underneath that straightened leg. Take an inhale, a little wiggle, feel sits bones rooting down. As you exhale, maybe that torso leads forward. It might be a little intense on that straightened leg, so move slow. Big inhale in. Exhale to release. Allow the tops of the shoulders to soften. Inhale, bring that torso up. And we're going to switch that out. So now extend that right leg down the length of the mat. Draw that left leg in, crossing it over so it's by the left hip. If you'd like to, you can bring that right heel next to left hip, but just for the sake of really feeling into root chakra, maybe leave it extended today. Draw that knee into chest. Take an inhale, grow long through the spine, but really feel sits bones rooted down. And as you exhale, let that torso spin over to the left. Maybe reaching about halfway and take another inhale to grow long here through the spine. Exhale, maybe that twist gets a little bit deeper. Gaze goes over the right shoulder, left shoulder. Our root chakra is kind of connected to our feet, our bones, and since it's all connected, really feeling into that space to help upper back. We'll get into that in a moment. And then exhale, come back towards the center. Let that top knee just kind of float so it's stacked on that straightened leg. Again, use blocks wherever it's handy, maybe even to soften into this hip. Take a moment, feel that connection to earth, and let that connection to earth, so you inhale, we'll let that wave the spine. So the sits bones root down, so our spine can wave nice and long. Maybe if it feels good, to find a little heart melting forward. Shoulder blades glide down your back. Deep breath into that space. Only moving so far as feels good for you, not moving past that stretch into pain. Inhale, bring that torso back up nice and gently. And then we're gonna move into, I'm just gonna turn so you can see a little bit easier. And if you're sitting on something, it might be a bit easier to move that off. So kind of working with some areas where we tend to hold a lot of stress and tension. And this is a really interesting somatic stretch that I learned in a class. So especially if you're feeling some tension in your upper back or between shoulder blades, we're going to start by bringing soles of the feet to the mat pretty close to your seat here first. Hug into those knees. And it's the same thing. We're going to feel that sits bones root down, wave that spine up and long. And then being really mindful, especially if you have a lot of pain in your cervical spine up by your neck, go really easy. But just taking a little test here, lifting up that chin, seeing how that feels, maybe noticing the tension, then coming back down. Then bringing hands behind you for a little bit of kind of lift of the chest here. So feel those hands pressing nice into earth to keep that spine nice and long. Left sole of the foot's going to stay down to the mat. Right sole of the foot is going to slide forward. So keeping the knees in line with hips, just so that they don't fall open here. Keeping knees in line with hips. We're going to slide that right foot forward just until you notice the toes are starting to lift up. Then lift up that foot and arch. So it's not a point, but you're kind of curling your toes to create an arch in the foot, and it's awfully hard to do. So keep that mind on there, and then lower that foot down. Keep toes down as you slide that heel back to your seat. Once it gets back to that starting position, then lift the toes upwards, keeping heel down on the mat. Hey, Jane. And bring that foot down and slide it forward again. Keep pressing gently down to lift the torso. Slide that foot forward again. We're doing some somatic stretching here, Jane. And then once the toes want to lift off, curl into the arch of the foot and lower back down. And just kind of keep going at your pace. Slide that heel back. About 3 or 4 times we're going to do this. And once that heel comes back, lift up the toes, keep the heel down, and back again. So notice wherever you don't necessarily need to draw in. So maybe the tops of your shoulders soften your face, slide it back, lift your toes. We'll go one more time. So keep that right foot down, slide it forward just when the toes want to lift up, and that could be different spacing for everybody. Curl in. It's weird. You'll notice your toes kind of wanting to do something else. Slide the heel back, lift the foot up. Now bring those hands back, wrap them around, slide shoulder blades back, and again, lift up that chin. You might notice a little difference already. And then just to kind of soften first, we'll windshield wiper. Sometimes holding the back of the spine up like that can be a little intense, so just soften here. Just working to release some tension in the upper back by working our feet. So just kind of fun to see that it's all connected, just like our root chakra is all connected. So those feet down towards the mat, bring those hands behind you, press so the tailbone is down, heart is lifting up. Now slide that left foot, keep the right foot still, slide the left foot. As soon as you feel like the toes starting to lift, curl into the arch of the foot. So you're kind of curling your toes, creating a little tension in the arch of the foot. Then bring that foot down, slide it back in. So slide it. Once that heel reaches back, keep heel down, lift the left feet up. Hello there. And slide once again. So a few times here, you can go at your own pace. Once the toes want to lift, then curl into the arch of the foot. It's an odd sensation, but it's helping the back here. So somatic stretching, moving slow, feeling in to kind of almost rewire the nervous system. Keep the heel down, lift the toes. Keep that spine nice and long. Hi there. Welcome in. Slide that heel back. Lift, maybe we'll go one more time. I kind of lost count, but that's okay. If this becomes intense on your shoulders, stop sooner. Slide that heel back, lift those toes one more time. Bring those hands around, circling into the knees, drawing in, and let that chin lift up. Maybe you'll notice a little bit more space in the upper back. Then coming back forward, we're going to extend that left leg, keep right sole of the foot in towards the upper thigh. If you wanted to come back to sitting on top of a blanket, that's fine. Flexing into your left foot. Once again, notice those sits bones rooted down. Feel the torso turning from, now we're going to move to sacral chakra, facing that foot. You can use your strap here, placing it around the ball of your left foot, long through the crown of the head, hinging forward at the hips, slowly moving into that stretch. And you can even try a little somatic stretching here if you'd like. So bend into that knee, holding the strap or the bottom of your foot, whichever is easiest. So creating a little bit of tension behind the hamstring, and then slowly easing that out to move into that stretch. So just a little rewiring of the nervous system by turning on a muscle and then slowly turning it off. Or just move into that stretch, keeping that left foot flexed, whatever feels good to you today. And feel that sacral, so just below the navel. We usually identify with the color orange. Take a nice big inhale, walk that torso back up, come a little bit closer towards center. So now torso is in line with the hips. Wherever you're at, taking a big bend into that knee, bringing that left hand towards the inside, maybe even kind of touching the ankle if you'd like. And then take the right hand and now just kind of sweep it across your chest, bringing that gaze over towards the right. Finding a nice little twist. Feel that spin kind of coming from the sacral area. Then sweeping that right hand down and forward. Bend into the elbow once it comes by your ear so shoulder blade glides down your back. Then feel that reach over towards the left, and maybe that leg straightens out. Maybe it doesn't. But we just find that nice opening in the side body, giving some space to the leg. As you exhale, coming back up, placing that right hand behind you. Now sweep left hand forward, bending into the left elbow when it comes by your ear so shoulder blade glides down your back. Then just reach behind you, so pressing sits bones down. Feel that heart lift. If you'd like to keep going, you can press those hips up. Feel that reach back like a little seated wild thing. Reach, feel those hips press forward if it feels good. You can keep the hips down if it doesn't. Exhale. Sit back down nice and slowly, and then we'll switch that out. So right leg extended, left leg in. Feel sits bones rooted down. Take an inhale, and then let that twist come a little bit above sacral, more in the solar plexus, but again, flex into the foot. And you can play here. So you can just bring your strap, if you'd like, shoulder blades gliding down your back, and then feel that stretch. You can even bend into the knee, still using the strap of your hands, creating a little resistance and tension, and then slowly easing that leg out. Whatever feels best to you. Wherever you are, allow your shoulder blades to ease down your back. Let that exhale release some tension, create some space. And then maybe even just kind of noticing where that fold is, that sacral chakra, that space of passion and creation. Our emotions. Sometimes if we don't kind of pay attention, we could have some like unprocessed anger because we haven't really focused on those emotions. As you're ready, inhale, bring that chest up. No matter where your leg is, now go ahead and bend it. Bring that right arm towards the inside. You could take hold of the ankle or just kind of float it on the inside. Sits bones root down, crown of the head reaches up. Twist, bring that left arm out. So this is problematic in my new space. Well, that's okay. Reach that arm. You can reach as far back as you can. And then we're going to sweep that left arm forward. Once it hits your ear, bend into your elbow to glide shoulder blade down your back. Then feel that reach. Then if it feels okay to straighten as much as you'd like into that leg, keep that heart open. Big breath in, feeling into that stretch. As you exhale, coming back up, bringing that left hand behind you, sweeping out the right hand, bending into the elbow, especially when it gets to your ear, to let shoulder blade glide down your back. Then feel that reach. You can stay here, sits bones rooting down, heart reaching up, or maybe you keep pressing into the earth, lifting up hips, reaching towards the back wall. Feel that opening in the hips. As you exhale, slowly coming down. And then we're going to move into table. So if you have a hard floor or some healing, go ahead and bring a towel or a blanket underneath your knees. Bringing your knees directly underneath your hips, fanning out your fingers, but your wrist can be a little bit slightly forward of your shoulders, especially to open up those wrist crease there. Some cat-cow, so lift those hips, let the belly sink, heart shines through, chin comes up. As you exhale, tuck that tailbone under, draw navel to spine, press the mat away. And maybe even just kind of noticing here that move of the low belly, that drawing in your solar plexus. It's depicted with the water element, and it's important for our relationships. It's important for being at peace with the abundance that we have in our lives, and even being okay with letting it go. As you exhale, press every last bit of air out one more time. Come back to a neutral spine. Feel the crown of the head lengthening forward, tailbone lengthening back. On your next inhale, let that left leg float up, still reach the crown of the head forward. And then as you exhale, draw that left foot out to the side. Start to gently walk those fingertips forward, send the hips back. You can even have hands on top of blocks here if that feels better to you. Taking your gaze forward or straight down below you. Your forehead can even soften down towards the mat if that feels good to you. Feel that breath move in between shoulder blades. Feel that breath move into the hip crease. As you're ready, inhale, use your hands, bringing that torso, maybe even bringing a block with you, bringing it to the right side of your mat, and then bring that torso all the way up. Inhale, reaching up. As you exhale, let the left hand float down, reach the right hand over. As you exhale, you can bring the right hand down to a block if you'd like. Kind of bringing that ground up a little more, reach the left hand over, feel that stretch. And then if you would like, you can lift up that left leg and draw that left heel towards your seat, taking hold of the foot in the left hand. Feel that stretch in the front of the hip, keeping the heart open. Big inhale, cleansing exhale. And then draw back down to the earth. Bring hands, bring the knees. Bring knees towards each other, towards the center. We're going to make some big circles in the hips. Let the hips drift over to the left. Swing around to the back. Come back forward. Just taking a little time, feeling the spine. Feeling the spine become maybe a little bit softer. Then coming back to more of a neutral spine, bring those knees back underneath the hips. As you're ready, take an inhale, extend that right leg, crown of the head reaches forward. As you exhale, swing that right leg out to the side, gently walk the fingertips forward, then send those hips back. Again, you can bring hands on top of blocks here, kind of giving yourself a little bit more space for the chest to soften down. Forehead can even soften down towards the mat. Big inhale, cleansing exhale. Then as you're ready, on an inhale, walking those hands, maybe bringing a block with you, this time placing it on the left side. And coming up towards center, take a nice big inhale. Exhale, let that right hand float down, left hand reaches over. Still feeling into rooting and then lifting. So even though we're moving up chakras, still feeling into each one. As you exhale, bring that left hand down. It can come down to a block. Now bringing the earth up. Reach the right hand over. Feel that stretch from fingertip to toes. If it feels good to you to lift that right leg, bring that right heel towards your seat, taking hold of that foot in your hand. Opening up chest, opening up hips. Nice big breath. Nice big cleansing exhale. And come back to table. Just for a little moment, knees coming towards each other in the center. Then let hips sink to the right, swing around towards the back. So as we move through our autumnal colors, moving up to solar plexus, which some folks say is at the navel, some say above. I say it's wherever you visualize it. They often use the color yellow. And it symbolizes our self-esteem, our personality. So coming back towards center. So bring those knees back underneath your hips. And walk those hands just slightly forward, fanning out the fingertips. So a little flow here between child's down to cobra. So we're going to inhale, send those hips back. Take a nice breath, deep inhale. As you exhale, start to curl forward. So draw those hips underneath. Bring elbows by your side. Slowly lower, just elbows come to 90. Then lower the hips gently down before the torso goes all the way down. Press toenails into the mat. Glide shoulder blades down your back. Inhale, lift that heart. Exhale, lower down, and keep the exhale as you draw your navel in, press up. And keep the press up so you can kind of cat. Inhale it back. Big breath in. As you exhale, curl the tailbone under, round through the spine. Elbows in, hips lower. Press the toenails down. Inhale, heart lifts. So a couple times here. Exhale down. Keep drawing up through the pelvic floor. Press. And just flow back. We'll just flow through this 2 more times. Feel the spine wave. Maybe even noticing the articulation from root to sacral to solar plexus. Pressing. Last time. Inhale. Exhale, running through. Only bending to 90, then let those hips lower. Inhale, let the heart lift. Exhale it down. But keep pressing, maybe even a little round. And then next time you find child's pose, a little rest. Knees wide, toes together. Taking a little moment. Hands can be in front or behind. Taking a big inhale, cleansing exhale, release your jaw. So as we think of that solar plexus chakra, it's kind of how dealing with how we manage the tolerance of others, tolerance of ourselves, our view of ourselves, self-worth, self-esteem. Taking your gaze forward and then bringing the hands forward, fanning out the fingers, coming to table briefly. Then we're going to tuck the toes, first downward dog. So move easy and slow. Bring those hips high. Press the mat forward. Draw shoulder blades down your back. Then straightening into the knees so heels soften towards the mat. They don't need to touch. As you inhale, keep breathing the breath up from your hands and your feet. Still feel that connection to earth. As you exhale, feel the exhale coming from tailbone through your back body. As you're ready, take an inhale, let that right leg float up, and then bend into the knee to open up the hip, but keep chest square to the mat. Feel that nice stretch in the hip. As you exhale, just bring your foot halfway. So right foot's only going to come halfway to the mat, and then we're going to spin the heel, left heel to the left. That left hip is going to come down to the mat as the right sole of the foot stays towards the mat. Bringing that chest, let this press that left hand down, crown of the head reaches up. Nice big inhale, cleansing exhale. Then press that right foot in to lift up that left hip, lots of weight into the right foot now, and let that left foot kind of float up. You can use hands, and hands can come to blocks here if that feels better than having them on the earth. So like a little standing split. Inhale, wave the spine long. Bring weight back into the heel, weight back into the hip of that left leg. Then lift that left hip bone off of the left, or right hip bone off of the left thigh bone. Nice big inhale, cleansing exhale. You can even let the heart melt down if that feels good to you. Then lower that left foot, bring it behind the right. So kind of like the legs are crossed. Bring weight to the toe edges of your big toe edges of your feet. Take another inhale, wave the spine long. Send weight back into the heels and the hips. Keep that weight distributed behind the big toe mound. Maybe you find a fold. Pretty intense on the IT band, so move slow. Bring that breath. Send the weight back in the heels, but keep weight in the big toe mound. Sometimes it wants to turn in towards the knife edges of our feet in this position. And then uncross those legs, bring the hands back down, coming into downward facing dog. Take a moment, maybe bend into each knee. Really let the hips go. Find some clearing and cleansing in your breath. Sometimes with solar plexus, we're working with being able to hold our own boundaries. Sometimes when we don't have boundaries is when people kind of take what they can, moving into not just personal space, energetic spaces. Then as you're ready, feel that right foot pressing down so much so left leg floats up. Bend into that left knee, let that hip open, but keep chest square to the mat. Nice big breath into that. As you exhale, just bring that left foot halfway. Spin the left heel or right heel towards the right. Right hip is going to find the mat. Right hand stays on. Presses down up and out of the shoulder. Feel that chest lift. Maybe the gaze kind of gently goes over towards those left fingertips. Nice big inhale. Cleansing exhale. Take another inhale, deep. And this time as you exhale, press that left foot down, lift up that right hip, And then bring all that weight to the right foot, so much so that the left leg floats up, finding a little standing split. Blocks are always handy. Inhale, find some length in the spine, so wave the spine forward. Then send your weight back into the heel, back into the hip. Feel that hip bone lift off of the thigh bone. Then if you want, you can let the chest lower, maybe that back leg floats up a little more. It always feels like it's really good. And then when I look over, I'm like, that's it. That's okay. It feels really nice here. As you exhale, lower that right foot behind the left. Keep big toe mounds to the mat. Bring the weight back in the heels. Inhale. Find that wave of the spine forward. As you exhale, maybe that heart lowers down. Again, moving slow. It's a pretty intense stretch on the IT band, so being mindful. Even being mindful of emotions. Some of these stretches that we do can draw up various emotions in different times. I don't think I ever had anything in my IT bands until recently. I almost feel this anger. Inhale, wave the spine long. We're gonna unwind those legs, come back into downward facing dog. Big exhale out. Moving the neck, maybe shaking it no, nodding your head yes. Then taking a deep bend in the knees, taking a look forward, find your way towards the top of your mat. Feet hip distance apart, deep bend in those knees so that low belly, bottom of the ribs comes to the top of the thighs. Then bringing a block directly underneath your face if you'd like. Bringing hands directly below. Find that nice little half lift. So inhale, wave the spine nice and long. Take a deep bend into that right knee. Place right hand on the block. As you inhale, open up that left arm as far as you can, actually. So you're almost twisting really deeply here. Only so deep it feels good for your low back, of course. As you exhale, lower back down. Inhale, find another half lift. Exhale, deep bend in the, I think I said left before, so go to the opposite, then sweep. No, left knee, right arm is sweeping. Exhale it down. We're going to go through one more time each side. Inhale, find that length first, wave the spine long. Deep bend into the right knee. Inhale, sweep left hand open. Feeling, if you'd like, into the lower chakras here. We're kind of twisting. Inhale, length. Bend into the left knee. Left hand stays down. Sweep that right arm open. Feel that chest opening. Feel that twist in the sacral chakra. Exhale it down. Forward fold, deep bend in the knees. Send that weight back into the heels, weight back into the hips. Find another half lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, coming all the way up. Exhale, hands coming heart center. Let everything just kind of soften. Soften tailbone by bringing pubic bone to belly button. Soften shoulder blades down. If you'd like to have some blocks at the front of your mat and a little bit over to the side, so a little bit off and near the front. As you're ready, we're going to inhale, bring that left foot back, coming into warrior two, so that right knee is opening. Inhale, reach those arms out, but shoulder blades glide down your back. Take gaze over the right fingertips. As you're ready, inhale, let the left hand float down, right hand reaches up. Exhale, come back to that strong warrior two. Inhale, bring that left forearm to the top, right forearm to the top of the right thigh. Reach that left arm over. Reach, then come back. towards that strong warrior two. Then even kind of walking that back foot in, taking a look forward, take a deep bend into that right knee, bring that right hand down on top of that block towards the outside. Press everything you have to the right leg, let that left leg float up. So even if you need to go further out to the side, that's fine. So then weight back into the heel of the right foot, weight back to the hips, lift that hip up off of the thigh. Then, so maybe you're a little bit more square to the mat here. Find an opening. So bringing that right shoulder down towards the mat. Open up that left hip. So we're finding half moon here. Beautiful. Gaze can stay down to the mat and a little bit more forward as you reach that left arm up. And again, option to bring that left heel towards left seat, taking hold of the foot, opening up the chest. Gaze can stay down. If you like a challenge, gaze can go towards the ceiling. Identify ear pods that stay in half moon. So I'm going to tell the sales guy. Big inhale. This time as you exhale, bring hips back square, left foot comes back forward fold. Bend into those knees. Inhale, find a little half lift here. Exhale, forward fold, deep into the knees, send the weight back towards the heels as you use your core to bring yourself all the way back up. Exhale, hands to heart center. And whenever you're ready on an inhale, step that right foot back. So the right foot's parallel to the back of your mat, opening up into warrior two. Add a rotation in the front leg. Bring those hands up, take gaze towards the left fingertips, but allow your shoulder blades to glide down your back. As you're ready, inhale, right hand floats down, left hand reaches up. Exhale, come back to warrior two. Inhale, left forearm to the top of the left thigh, reach that right arm over. Keep that chest opening. Exhale it back to warrior two. Now that you know where to go, maybe even walking that back leg in. Reach that left hand towards the outside, maybe to a block. Press into that left foot so that right leg floats up. Maybe it's square, that's okay. Just setting yourself up first. So wave the spine long, send weight back into the heel and hips. Lift the hip up off the thigh bone. Then find that opening. Find that stability first. Open, stacking that right hip upwards, right shoulder up. If you like, you can reach that right arm up. You want it to keep going and bring that right heel towards your seat, taking hold of the right foot and the hand opening at the chest. Gaze can be forward at the floor to kind of test some balance. It can go up towards the ceiling, wherever you're at. Take a big, expansive inhale. And as you exhale, release. Forward fold. Bend into the knees. Take hold of opposite elbow with opposite hand. And just a little sway to release the low back. And then we'll just gently find our way down all the way the length of the mat. Moving nice and slowly. We're going to come to our backs. Rounding through the spine. And just take a moment to land. Bring the palms up. If it feels good after all of that, to windshield wiper. We're definitely going to do some spinal twists, but sometimes it just feels nice to rock the hips from side to side. As you exhale, it tops your shoulders on the mat. And bring those knees back towards center if they aren't already. Cross the right leg over the left, flexing into the right foot, keeping that right knee open. Gently draw left knee towards chest. And just allow that stretch. Allow the tops of the shoulders to soften, allow your face to soften. So just spending some time thinking about the lower chakras because of the colors of autumn, but also as kind of a service to ourselves before the holiday season. So almost using them as a map, since the lower chakras are about ourselves, to kind of get ready for that busy season, get ready for family, for all of that inwardness and outwardness. Slowly bring left sole of the foot towards the mat, taking hold of the right knee, gently squeeze it in if you like, extend left leg down the length of the mat, maybe making some circles into the knee to get a little bit into the hip. And then keeping that knee gently squeezing in with the left hand, take the right arm out to the side. Find that twist, bring that right knee to the left, keep right shoulder blade towards the mat. Gaze can go over towards the right. And allow yourself to just release all tension here. Release any hovering and holding. Also, this kind of introspection allows for letting go. The end of autumn, all the leaves fall, that old is let go. And sometimes we need that space to figure out what we're hanging on to. As you inhale, bring your knee back towards center. This time, just let it keep going. Take the right knee in the right hand, let it gently fall out towards the right. And then maybe there's a bit of drawing in. So almost like if you could pull the knee up towards your shoulder and then release it down a little bit more towards your hip and align with your hip, I should say. So just a back and forth here. Then bring right sole of the foot towards the mat, crossing the left leg over, flexing into the left foot, left knee stays open. Gently draw the right knee towards the chest. Maybe that left elbow is just really gently keeping that left knee open. Tops of the shoulders soften to the mat. Again, find some tension that you can release, maybe in your throat or your jaw. Keeping that stretch for one more breath. Nice big inhale to that outer hip. As you exhale, release, taking hold of that left knee, extend the right leg down the length of the mat, making some circles with the knee to feel into that left hip socket. And then keep that knee drawing in the right hand. Extend the left arm out to the side. Use the right hand to draw the knee over nice and gently towards the right as left shoulder blade stays down towards the mat. Gaze can go over towards left fingertips. Big, deep inhale. Fill up the belly. Let it travel up the length of the spine. And as you exhale, find a release. Find a softening. So the lower three, the Muladhara, Svadhisthana, Manipura, those chakras, feeling safe, connecting to passion, feeling self-worth. And as you're ready, inhale, Bring that knee back and just let it float nice and gently into the left hand and out towards the left. And then maybe if it feels good, kind of drawing that knee almost up towards the shoulder and then back down towards hip level. So still working compression, but just a little bit different angle. And then taking some time finding any last little bit of movements that you would like. Maybe it's a little dead bug, maybe it's happy baby, plow pose. Just if you are doing plow pose, just be very, very mindful of the back of the neck, maybe even just bringing hips up onto a block and not bringing feet all the way over. So we're being careful of our spine. And when you are ready, allow yourself to come into your final resting pose. So allowing your feet to fall open, getting really big as you can, which apparently I've got a lot of walls, but palms up away from your body. And then go ahead and kind of press your head, lift your chest to draw your shoulder blades underneath your heart, letting the tops of your shoulders soften a bit more to the mat. Draw in a deep, expansive breath, filling up from the root, expanding the low belly and the sacral to the solar plexus, and then keep going to the rest, all the way to the crown of the head. Fill up that air. Exhale. Find that release, find that sigh. And then allow yourself this rest, just a few minutes here, and then I'll bring us out nice and slowly. But just allowing fascial tissue to realign, allowing space for your body to cool down, and just letting your mind have a little ease. And just starting to make small movements in fingers and in toes. Maybe they become larger circling of ankles and wrists. Or if you still need more time in Savasana, go ahead and give yourself that time. Maybe taking an inhale bringing arms overhead, a nice big long stretch. And as you exhale, you can draw knees to chest. You can rock those knees from side to side, or maybe even just moving the head from side to side. And once you've found the side that feels good, gently rolling over to that side, pausing there briefly. Maybe once again recalling whatever intention or mantra you brought with you today. And then bringing yourself up nice and easy to seated, whatever comfortable position that is for you. Maybe it's on top of a blanket or even a block, letting your knees fall open. And for today, my quote for you comes from Lao Tzu. Always we hope someone else has the answer. Some other place will be better, or some other time it will all turn out. This is it. No one else has the answer. No other place will be better, and it has already turned out. At the center of your being, you have the answer. You know who you are, and you know what you want. I thank you so much for being here on this Sunday. Had a lovely time. Thank you, and have an amazing rest of your week. I hope to see you soon. I hope to get this space set up. Let me exit this